How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much for watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. It's great to be back with you again. I am talking about a Western from 1965, directed by Henry Hathaway, The Sons of Katie Elder. This movie stars John Wayne, Dean Martin, Michael Anderson Jr., Earl Holliman, George Kennedy, Martha Heyer. This movie tells the story of John, Tom, Bud, and Matt, four brothers that return to their hometown of Clearwater, Texas, in the Old West after their mother, Katie Elder, who was a highly revered and much loved woman in her hometown, has just recently passed away. And the movie begins with her funeral and the priest speaking very kind words of Katie. And three of the brothers are there. Dean Martin's character, Tom, who is kind of a gambler, is there with his two younger brothers, but the older brother, played by John Wayne, John, isn't seen there, but he is watching from a distance behind a hill as it's revealed after people start to leave the funeral. The sheriff of the town of Clearwater, Sheriff Billy Wilson, who is a friend of John Elder, sees that John is at his mother's funeral, walks up to him from behind, but John doesn't like anybody sneaking up on him, so he quickly turns around and does that quick draw thing. He's pretty fast, actually. And so they have a little chat, and it turns out that someone else now owns his mother's ranch under mysterious circumstances. And he tells John to kind of, make sure you don't get into trouble because we all know you're a gunfighter and all that. And so just keep your nose clean. Not very long after his friendly little chat with Sheriff Billy, John Elder catches up with his three younger brothers, Tom, Bud, and Matt. And from the very first moment that all four of these brothers are together on screen, you can really feel the chemistry between these guys, especially between John Wayne and Dean Martin as John and Tom, the two older brothers. But the older brothers definitely give the younger brother, Bud, who is the youngest, a hard time since he is the youngest. And he's the one that the mom really wanted to go to college and make something of himself. And so they really try to drive that home for him. But he really resists because you can tell he really admires the older brothers and wants to be more like Tom and like John. Also in the film is the character of Mary, played by actress Martha Heyer. The character of Mary was someone that was a good friend to Katie Elder when she was alive, and you can tell whenever she speaks about the guy's mom that she thought the world of their mom. And so also like the priest at the eulogy, even he thought his words didn't do their mother justice because she was such a terrific lady and stuff. And so yeah, everybody gives the guys a real hard time for being kind of neglectful and just not being there when their mother sacrificed so much for them. All throughout the film, there are these little moments, whether it's the priest talking about Katie Elder at her funeral, or whether it's Mary talking to her sons about their mother, or whether it's the brothers just having fun, goofing off, and reminiscing and bringing up their mother through conversation. Even though you never see her because, she's dead at the beginning of the film, the character of Katie Elder very much feels like kind of an unseen presence all throughout the film. Upon learning their mother had nothing when she died, the brothers look into it and find out that their father, before he died, had gambled and lost their farm away to a local gunsmith known as Morgan Hastings, played by actor James Gregory, who is very good as Morgan. And if you look closely at the guy playing his son, you'll notice a very young Dennis Hopper there as a young David Hastings. But the way this Morgan guy acts, you can tell he's definitely hiding something. And so the brothers look into it, of course, even more. But walking around town, making sure they don't find out too much, is a guy hired by Morgan Hastings. Actor George Kennedy plays the character of Curly, the guy all in black that's supposed to make sure that the brothers don't find out too much. And I always enjoy seeing George Kennedy in a movie, whether it's in Cool Hand Luke, or whether it's in Airport, or the Naked Gun movies. He has a very strong presence on camera and always makes for a formidable adversary. As westerns go, I really wouldn't call this one a shoot 'em up kind of western. There is some of that in the third act, which the movie does build to, and there is kind of a tease of that every now and then. But for the most part, this movie really isn't about the shootouts. It's more about these brothers reuniting, and they're coming together and trying to find out what happened with their mother and how she lost her farm. And it's a very interesting little mystery behind all of that. And I think it only adds to the action and the shooting by the end of the film. Personally, for me, the best moments in the film aren't even the moments where there's shootouts. It's the moments where the brothers are just talking and giving each other a hard time. And there's a great scene where they start fighting, and it feels like you're watching kids playing on a playground. There's also a scene where they're by a river and they start throwing each other in the water, which is a lot of fun. And there's a great scene where they're at a bar, and the brother played by Dean Martin, Tom, has this glass eye that is a fake, and he tries to raffle it off to get some quick money for free drinks and stuff. And there's a little near showdown that happens there with Curly. That's a great moment. And all those little moments in between that build towards the third act really helped to make this movie a great experience. The story of this movie is so good that it inspired the late great director John Singleton to make his own version of it in 2005, Four Brothers, starring Mark Wahlberg and Tyrese Gibson. I also enjoy that movie as well. It's a pretty good version of this story. But for me, as I always say, there is nothing like the original, The Sons of Katie Elder from 1965. I give it 4 stars. You might be able to find this on streaming, but like I'm always saying, I'm a hard copy kind of guy, and if you want to look for your own copy online, you can always do that. I happen to have a copy right here on DVD, as you can see there. You got John Wayne there, the Duke, with his big old head there taking up most of the cover. And you got the other brothers right there. A great Western. Check it out. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I very much appreciate it. If you're into the classics, if you're into movies, and if you're into this kind of thing, hit the bell, become a subscriber. Please don't forget to comment, share, like, always helps out. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for all of your support and your views. I very much appreciate it. Till next time, everybody, take care of each other. God bless. Stay safe.